opponents. It lights them up on fire. And then you got the Z move, the burning slash, literally setting your heart ablaze. When you hold it, look at this. It breaks instinct upon impact, guys. And the AoE is relatively big when you hold it. Again, deals burn damage over time. Look at that! 7,000! Now, we gotta switch animes a bit because this sword is actually not even from One Piece. It is obviously inspired by the sword of Rengoku, the Demon Slayer Hashira, who uses the flame-breathing technique, hence the fire theme to the Rengoku. This sword is so legendary that they brought it from a complete different anime into Blox Fruits. We're gonna put the Rengoku above the saber at the top of the A tier for now. Moving on, we have the Cavender, another fencing sword. As you can see, when you're holding it, you got your other arm in the back. The M1, again, use it as if you were fencing. It is a pretty high damage. Both moves are actually mobility moves. You got the piercing dash, as well as the scattering dust. But the downside of it being, you know, both moves being dashing moves, it's really hard to PvE and even PvP with it. You can't really chain two combos together. So the Cavender is obviously dropped by defeating the beautiful pirate over in the third sea. In the anime, the sword is called the Durandal, which is owned by Cavendish, or as Luffy calls him, Cabbage. It is one of the named swords. We just don't know what grade it is, and apparently it is made of very flexible material. It will never shatter on impact. Honestly, not bad, but not great either. This definitely belongs in the B tier. Alright, moving on. Even more legendary than the Wando Sari and Shisui are the next two legendary swords. Starting with the Toshida. At first glance, it looks just like the Rengoku for some reason. This sword can be unlocked from the extremely difficult Toshida puzzle. I'm not gonna elaborate, but just know that it's not very easy to obtain. This is one of the best swords in the game because of its great combo potential, extremely high damage, which makes it good for PvPs and raids. So the Heavenly Lunges, the first move, can stun your enemy for an extremely long time if they don't dodge it, and has high knockback, good AoE. And the Celestial Ravager not only has great range, it is also a mobility move. Look at this thing. That is the X that Oden put on Kaido's chest, isn't it? Well, of course, be sure to not miss the Heavenly Lunges, because if you do, it puts yourself in a very vulnerable position for your opponent to attack you. So in the anime, this is called the Ame no Habakiri, one of the two legendary swords owned by Oden, and is again one of the 21 great gray swords. Obviously, its abilities speak for itself with all the countless strong opponents that Oden has fought against. And to this day, the Ame no Habakiri and the Emma are the only two swords that was ever able to damage or injure Kaido. Overall, an amazing sword. I don't think I would put it above the Rengoku or the Saber. I'm gonna put it below the Saber. So the second half of the two legendary swords is the Yama. So the M1 is pretty much the same as the Toshida. The Hellish Slash and the Infernal Hurricane are both mobility moves. Very long range on the Hellish Slash, by the way. Infernal Hurricane also allows you to travel pretty far. Very good weapon for running away. And both of these skills are AoE attack. Now, the Emma has a very long history, of course. It was originally used by Oden, two sword style. You have both the Ame no Habakiri and the Emma. And later, somehow Zoro got his filthy hands on it and just completely went to town. It is one of the 21 great swords and is known to draw out the user's armament haki. It sucked out all of Zoro's blood in his arm. Like, look at this stick. This dude Zoro was able to use the Emma to once again deal damage to Kaido and bring back decades of nightmares for that man. I will put it alongside the Toshida, but I honestly don't know which one is better. Maybe just because I like the Yama a little more. There it goes. Alright, we got the Buddy Sword up next. This is one of the only swords in the game that has a face. So this one is obtained by killing Big Mommy in the back right there. Pretty good for grinding. You know, no M1 dash on the final move. And in terms of skill, these skills are extremely fast. Virtually undodgeable. The Z move has a pretty decent hitbox and insanely high damage output. You once again set your opponent to flames. Oh my god, yo, I was doing the showcase, not you. But yeah, the next move was gonna be the lightning wave. You just gotta aim it very well. Pew! Now, as you're holding this move, it allows you to heal faster. Look at that. Look, I'm healing. Faster than normal, at least. And it breaks instinct. What a sick skill to have. So in the anime, this sword is actually a hat, and it is owned by Big Mom. The reason why it has a face and is alive is because Big Mom used her soul powers to turn it into one of her homies. So this thing can even attack on its own, which is so damn scary, man. So we're gonna put the Buddy Sword actually in between the Sadi and the Wando. Like I said, crazy range, pretty good for combos. I think the this is justified. Spiky Trident. This is objectively one of the best weapons in the game. So the way you unlock the Spiky Trident is by defeating Katakuri. This weapon has great damage, very good for combos. All right, first move, the Do Hurricane locks the enemy in place. A great stun effect, very good mobility as well. Flying Trident also pulls your enemy closer towards you, which is great for extending combos. But the cool thing about it is not only does it pull enemies close to you, it can also pull you to different locations as well. Look at that. So this Trident in the anime One Piece is called the Mogura, which is used by Katakuri, the sweet commander of the Big Mom pirates. But in terms of his Trident, though, I think the only damage that he dealt with it is against himself. This dude literally stabbed himself in the stomach just to make the fight more fair for Luffy. What a boss. Spiky Trident is an easy entry into the A tier. Up next, we got the Dark Dagger. This thing is impossibly difficult to unlock. I got it on my first try, you know, quick little flex. So you get it with a very small chance after defeating Indra in here. Honestly, it's not bad, other than the fact that it's tiny as hell. It's got a Z move, the Proficient Impale that breaks instinct. And then the Shaming Slash actually stuns your opponent for a decent amount of time right there. They can't move. But honestly, just like this sword is difficult to spot, these moves are relatively more difficult to hit. Don't even get me started on its counterpart in the anime. Obviously, this is the sword that Mihawk wears around his neck, which he used to absolutely embarrass the living out of Zoro. One of the moments in One Piece that literally scarred me for life. If Zoro doesn't kill this man by the end of this anime, he will never live that moment down. I'll put this in the bottom of the A tier right there. All right, Shark Anchor. So I've been told this sword has very high damage, really good combo potential, AoE on all of its attacks, and good stun abilities. So the way you obtain the Shark Anchor is by killing a Terror Shark with an anchor attached to it. But in order to find that, you would need to craft a Monster Magnet first, and that's a whole ordeal on its own. So we got first the Typhoon Toss, large AoE and long range. Oh my God, I forgot how good this looked. And apparently the explosion at the end breaks instinct. And then the Armor Breaker is good mobility and also breaks instinct. I mean, all around, this sword is just nasty. There's one bad thing I could say about this sword. The M1 is atrocious. You would not be able to tell the animation was just from a couple of months ago. And look at the last one, dude. It looks so bad. Shark Anchor, once again, does not exist in the anime One Piece. This is a crazy, crazy sword, man. I gotta do it, guys. I love the Rengoku. I gotta be fair. That's why you guys subscribe to this channel, right? You subscribe to the channel. We got the Fox Lamp next. This thing is also very impossible to obtain because you get it at the Kitsune Shrine. You probably have to do 20 of those before you can get your hands on this, but it is incredible, bro. Look how fast the M1 is, and there's no dash at the end. The Scorching Azure has a very long range and good stun abilities. Also, it just looks beautiful. This Infernal Firestorm, everything's just good about it. Decent range, good AoE, hits multiple enemies, amazing damage, also has mobility. Both of these attacks break instinct, by the way. So yeah, top tier for PvPs, top tier for PvEs. This thing is definitely going into the S tier though. We're putting this above the Gravity King. We have a new entry for the best sword in the game. We got the True Triple Katana. We got the Wando in the left hand. We got the Sadi in the right hand. We got the Shusui in the mouth. And what's bad about this sword? Absolutely nothing. What's great about it? Everything. So yeah, the M1 is relatively fast. Wolfang Rush has decent mobility. It is a good combo starter. The Dragon Hurricane has one of the biggest hitboxes among all the swords. Absolutely devastating and can pretty much disrupt any combo. Now, we already talked about each of the legendary swords individually, so I'm not gonna go into too much detail. But as you all know, Zoro uses the 3-sword style, and these are the 3 current swords that he holds. No bias, straight to the S tier. Don't even at me in the comments. I'm not trying to hear it. All right, the Hollow Sight. This sword can be obtained from killing the Reaper boss. The M1 on this is extremely fast and you do not dash forward. This is my best sword to auto-click with. So the Z move has a very large hitbox. Oh my gosh. Boom, look at that. You don't really have to aim and you can hit multiple targets at the same time, which is amazing. And the Soul Execution has great mobility and is amazing for breaking instinct. Because of that, this move is very, very good for not just farming, but also combos as well. So I don't really know many characters in One Piece that uses a scythe except for Caribou, this swamp booger dude, and I don't really feel like talking about him, so we're just gonna move on. Hollow Scythe, another lock for the S tier, right above the Soul King under the Fox Lamp. Alright guys, we're finally about to talk about the CDK, Curse Dual Katana, probably the most popular swords in the game, and for very good reason. So once you unlock the Toshida and the Yama, you have to go through 6 excruciatingly difficult trials in order to get these swords, and let me just tell tell you, it is 100% worth it. Insanely fast M1 that does not dash forward, so you can auto-click with it. Farming with this thing is just mwah, chef's kisses. These swords are great for almost any build. So this move, if you hold it near your opponent, it can stun them for a very, very long time, put them in a tornado, and yeet them very far away. And the Slayer of Goliath, I mean, these are the exact same moves that injured Kaido, so what can I say? Very long range when held and amazing mobility. Literally everything that you can ask for in a pair of beautiful swords. And in the anime, we already talked about it. The Ami no Habakiri and the Emma are Odin's swords. He uses a two-sword style to defeat literally everybody in his path. Maybe except Roger. He got bodied by Roger. Straight to the SA. I love the True Triple Katana, but come on, man. It's just, there's no debate right there. All right, the Dark Blade. So the way to unlock the Yoru, there's no way around it. You gotta be rich. It costs Robux. Because it is a game pass. The M1 is, of course, unique to the Yoru itself. It does dash forward like a little bit, but it is pretty fast, honestly. 1,000 slices is able to stun the enemy for a little bit, like a split second, and has decent range. And then we got the Dark Air Slash, which has two versions. You can either just throw it out, but if you hold it down like this and then launch it, it goes even faster. Very high damage. So all in all, pretty good sword if you're willing to pay to win. I mean, to getting it in the first sea will make you completely overpowered. And of course, the Yoru is currently in the possession of none other than the world's greatest swordsman, Dracula Mihawk. One of the 12 supreme great swords in the hands of the greatest swordsman. This man can be seen easily dicing up ships with one swing of an arm with the Yoru and completely destroys every single sword fighting opponent that he's ever faced against. So if we were talking about One Piece, I would make a brand new god tier just to put this Yoru in. But since we're talking about Blox Fruits, it is actually not the best sword in the game. I would have to put this right below the Rengoku. It's definitely A tier, but it is not goated. All right, finally, ladies and gentlemen, the last sword on our list, the True Triple Dark Blade. Easily the most difficult sword to obtain in the game. I've been trying for like 3 years. Still no luck. You must be selected by the Blox Fruits owners to have the honor of wielding such powerful swords. I am simply not worthy. The skills are pretty much the same as the Dark Blade, but it does have the highest M1 click damage and the skills just 3 times more. And of course, combined with the OP Fun admin command, the damage is just infinite. Just look at this noob get bullied right here. How about instead of 1,000 slices, we get 3,000 slices. It's everything the Dark Blade is, except 3 times more. Now, just picture this, everybody. Just imagine Mihawk going 3-sword style, holding 3 Yorus. That would be the end of the world as we know it. Just off the flex alone, the Dark Blade goes to the top of the S tier. If we're really being objective, I would say the CDK is still better, but come on, guys. It's the TTY. You gotta give it to it.